Thank you very much, VP Asma, for the opening remarks. I think we all understand that procurement is a very important aspect of AIIB's operations. So maybe if we quickly discuss about procurement as a whole. For many of you, it looks probably like a very simple thing. You buy something from somewhere, and you bring something, and you use it. But in AIIB context, it's different. It's a more strategic approach. We not only buy things, but we want to establish long-term relations. We want to find the best technologies, the best tools which will provide benefits to our organization to deliver on its mandate. And of course, there are many players in that area, but we rely very much on your support. We would like to build strong collaboration with all of you so that we partner on a long-term basis so that you know us better, we know you better. And of course, today's session will explain how to find opportunities for you, how to participate in our tenders, but before that, we will talk a little bit about different aspects of our procurement. So, as VP Asma mentioned, we are covering corporate and project or operational procurement. There are two different areas, but we both help the bank to deliver on its main mandate, build infrastructure for tomorrow, right? And if we look at what corporate procurement does, so there are different areas we are very heavily involved. So the first, maybe you have noticed, those who visited our headquarters, this huge building, 100,000 plus square meters area. It's, by any comparison, it's a very big facility that needs to be managed. We have to ensure that we provide adequate conditions, adequate environment for all our staff to deliver. We also have two hub offices, one in Tianjin and one in Abu Dhabi, where also our staff work, they deliver their results. So we have to make sure that all these facilities work perfectly. Then we have our people. We have many departments in the bank who work very hard to deliver on their mandate, but they also need support from consultants and service providers. This is where corporate procurement comes to help facilitate recruitment of consultants, individuals, or firms, and then we work together. Consultants, when they're hired, they become bank personnel. So they work very closely with the AIIB staff as colleagues. We share the same premises, we share the same canteen, we work in the same spirit. And another area is, of course, project procurement. Many of you probably know very well that AIIB is an investment bank. We are investing into infrastructure for tomorrow. We are financing projects in different countries, and we help recipients to improve their living conditions. But also, in that area, we work very closely with the project procurement team, because if they need consultants to support project preparation, support project implementation, if they need to do different studies, they rely on consultants. So this is the area where you can contribute. And of course, the more you learn, the more chances for you will be to better understand how the bank works and how you could contribute to our operations. Now let's talk very briefly about the categories. So these are the main categories that everybody probably knows. It's goods, works, and services, but what it entails. For example, goods. Very simple example. Whenever staff is recruited and onboarded, the first thing the staff would receive would be the IT equipment, the laptop, the mobile phone, internet connection. But apart from that, of course, our offices are equipped with different types of equipment, furniture, big screens, communication technologies, and so on. So this is at the core of our procurement. Our IT department is actually one of our biggest clients because, you know, in our modern world, with the very quick IT development and AI, we cannot work without using the benefits of the modern technologies. So this is one example. But of course, communication is very important. We not only communicate between our offices, we communicate with our clients, right? Our recipients also regularly in touch with us. We have many meetings. We exchange views. We discuss how to prepare projects, how to implement projects. Apart from that, we also have many programs, whether it is training or knowledge sharing, and this is where we also need equipment. In addition to that, we also subscribe to multiple databases, different databases which provide kind of information, knowledge that our staff need in order to perform their duties. And you may not imagine how many databases we have and how extensively they're being used. That's one big area of procurement of goods. Then comes works. The works seems to be very simple. If you compare with the project procurement, there we are building roads, we are building power plants, water treatment plants, and so on. Maybe it's less visible in our headquarters, but there are also a lot of work contracts involved because we have to maintain proper quality of our facilities. We have elevators, we have fire control system, we have IT systems, power supply, charging stations for electric cars, and so on. And that requires a lot of technical expertise, a lot of works. They may not be very big in terms of value, but they're critical for the bank to perform. Then, of course, we procure services. There are many different types of services, but we group them into maybe two. One is general services, which are related to services we use to maintain our offices. And another is more specific consulting services, whether it is firms or it is individual consultants. In general services, there are many, many subcategories, right? The security services will come first to our mind, but then we also have visa services, we have other services like travel services, travel security, we have insurance services. So many different types of services that we have to sign contracts with the partners like you to make sure that our staff, when they travel, they feel safe, they feel protected when deliver on their duties. And consulting services, maybe many of you represent that industry. We have two subcategories, firms and individuals. We will talk about that a bit more detailed. But this is also one thing which is very important for AIIB's function. We use consultants for our own needs, for our departments, but we also use consultants to help our clients in project preparation and implementation. Now, so as you know a little bit about what we are procuring, I think it's good to understand how we are procuring, right? So firstly, we have a framework, right? We have policies, we have directives and administrative guidances, which basically provide the basis for us to understand how we should undertake procurement, right? There are policies that we are mandated to follow. We have to fully comply with those policies, and if you have attended the morning session, there was a session about MDB governance. This is part of that framework. We have to ensure that our processes and policies are at the very high standard, right? Then we have different categories I have already covered. It's goods, works, and services. But here is also one very important information. For all these three categories, there will be different approaches on how we procure. So we cannot mix goods and services or works and services if they are not related. So it means every client, when they want to procure something, they consult with us to understand what is the best method for packaging, and then how to basically go about procurement. Then another area which probably you should be aware of, so we have different levels of authorities within the bank to approve and sign contracts, depending on their complexities and their values. This is done to make sure that we are working in a very efficient manner, so that if there is a small value contract, there is no risk the lower level authority will be able to approve and sign. And if it is a higher level with a higher risk or maybe higher importance for the bank, then there will be higher level authorities. So not everything goes to the highest authorities in the bank in terms of approval and signing of contracts. So therefore, just you could keep in mind that if it is a very small value contract, maybe it's much, much quicker to get it approved and signed. Then, for all of you who are planning to participate in our tenders, I think you should be aware that we have different methods of procurement. Well, selection methods or procurement methods, but those could be competitive, could be non-competitive. In competitive area, we may have pre-qualification, we may not have pre-qualification. We could have one-stage bidding, we could have two-stage bidding. All this information will be presented in the invitation for bid, so that you are fully aware how the process will go on, how the evaluation will be done, and then how the contract award decision will be made. Then maybe a little bit about types of contracts. We have basically three broad categories of contracts. Some of them maybe you are very familiar with, which is time-based, where we pay for the time spent by experts in delivering their work. If it is X number of days and the work has been delivered, so we pay for the exact number of days. Another option is a lump sum, where we don't look at how many days, how much time the individual or the firm spent on delivering that outcome. We define so-called payment milestones, which are linked to actual products that the company or individual delivers. And then, if the quality of that deliverable is not very good, so you will be asked to improve that, submit it, and only after it is accepted, the payment will be made. But both can be used depending on the circumstances. What is the most appropriate method of payment? And this we discuss during procurement preparation cycle. Another type of contract is a framework contract. This is to make sure that we do not spend too much time on open bidding over and over again, to reduce the time for recruitment. So this is where we do competition among basically number of firms. It could be limited competition or it could be open competition. But we have in mind that there are certain tasks which may occur repeatedly over a certain period of time. Say 2 years or 3 years, we need a consultant who has to do environmental impact assessment. So we will do first round of competition. We pre-identify several companies who are capable of delivering that. They will be included in so-called framework. There will be framework agreement signed with all of them. But when the user needs those services, they are free to approach to any of that companies and say, we would like you to work on this project in this location for this duration. Can you do it? If yes, yeah, we will sign contract immediately. There will be no tendering because tendering has been already completed, right? And then, of course, very important aspect for all of us, procurement compliance. As I have mentioned, we have to make sure that we comply with all our policies and procedures, but we have to maintain our core principles of efficiency, transparency, fairness, and that translates into every stage of procurement. So we transparently advertise, all information is on our website, but when we evaluate bids, we have to make sure that the confidentiality is maintained. So we cannot share information we received from different bidders within a broad audience. It's only those who are responsible for evaluation will have access to that. And very importantly also, we have zero tolerance to integrity violations. So this is our mandate. All of us have to ensure that. And lastly, we have two important e-procurement tools we use, and you will use if you would like to participate in our tenders. It is called SAP AIIB for recruitment of entities and SAP Fieldglass for recruitment of individual consultants. We'll cover that in a few minutes in the second part of our presentation, and then I would encourage you to log on, register, and learn how these systems work. Thank you very much. My part, I think, is over, and I will hand over to Evan to continue with a bit more details of that.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see you here today. My name is Evan Shang, Senior Corporate Procurement Specialist. I'm excited to present how AIIB engaged potential suppliers or individual consultant. First, let's take a look how procurement works in the AIIB. Here is our procurement cycle, which shows our internal procurement process for your reference. It all started by identifying your business needs, doing market research, and preparing specifications. And then from there, we move forward for the procurement process, selecting the appropriate method, issuing the RFP or bidding documents, and finally, awarding the contract. We may publish our opportunity on the website, or we may just invite shortlisted bidders for a proposal, or a single source, depending on the procurement method. After a proposal received, an evaluation team will evaluate them and will shortlist the successful bidder. And after approval, we'll proceed with contract negotiation and signing. And then the requesting departments will manage contract execution and monitor delivery. At the end, we'll proceed with supplier performance review to ensure that we have a track record in the bank. As Rustan said, our procurement is done through e-procurement system. There are two systems we're using, SAP Fieldglass and SAP AIIB. General service and consulting services or goods provided by firms are procured through SAP AIIB, which include sourcing and contracting. Individual consultants are procured through SAP Fieldglass and manage contract, deliverables, and timesheets. We use DocuSign for signing for all procurement-related contracts, and we team up with our controller office to ensure that the vendor gets paid on time, and we also team up with the budget office to ensure that we have enough budget to pay the suppliers or issue the contract envelope. So since all of our procurement is done through e-procurement systems, so the e-procurement system streamlined the full procurement process from critical grave, which is from the time when we received the request to the final stage of contract signing. Corporate procurement follow the procurement core values, which is also AIIB's core values: lean, clean, and green. Lean means we seek value, not just about cost. It's about efficient spending, quality results, and value for money, strong delivery. Clean means fairness, transparency, compliance, accountability, no shortcuts, no favoritism. Every bid is tracked, every award is documented, and every contract is auditable. Vendor our essential and our resources of the bank. In 2024, we awarded 969 contracts in a total of $95 million. Of this, 19% went to consulting services and 20% went to 19% went to consulting services provided by firms, and 20% went to consulting services provided by individual consultants. So you can see the difference. We have increasing demand on individual consultant. It shows a steady increase in the individual consulting engagement, specialized in some specialized areas. It also shows we have an increased reliance on digital tools and global vendors. Last year, we signed 433 cross-border contracts, totaling over $67 million. So that is for corporate vendors, with suppliers from mainland China, Germany, US, UK, Hong Kong, and beyond. So suppliers from the top 5 economies account for more than 70% of the total contract value, spanning IT, consulting, facility management, and office administration services. International consultants typically provide consultancy services supporting project implementation and institutional support, including project preparation, risk assessment, compliance, and even internal audit. The diversity highlights AIIB's global procurement outlook. We encourage potential suppliers of all economies to look for opportunity with AIIB. Individual consultants play an important role with AIIB's development. In 2024, we awarded 447 contracts in a total amount $19 million. And we engaged more than 300 consultants from 48 economies, with a total contract amount of $19 million, which representing a 17% increase from that of 2023. And where are they deployed? The top departments' engagement are investment operations, policy and strategy, substantial sustainability and fiduciary solutions, and IT. Individual consultants also play an integral part of AIIB's development and human resources as well, that complement staff in capacity and in specialized expertise. If you're a consultant providing consulting services, you are just not only providing a support and service, you are also joining AIIB. The reason because you work on our systems, you interact with our colleagues or teams in the bank, and while the expectations are high, individual consultants are selected through open competition or direct selection, depending on the scope of work, depending on the budget. Consultants might be working with us on short-term, long-term, part-time, full-time basis, depending on the business needs. And based on the consultant locations, it can be from project-based consultant, remote working, home-based, and also we have HQ-based consultants. So this is your opportunity, if you're a consultant, to make a real impact into one of the world's newest multilateral investment banks. So for suppliers interested in working with AIIB, procurement opportunities are published on our website under corporate procurement page and work with us section. Additionally, you can find opportunities on public platforms like Impact Pool, Development Aid. There's a few other platforms, and also you can go to our e-procurement platforms to assess the opportunity. If you have questions or complaints, please email to procurement@aiib.org. We'll continue promoting opportunities through webinars, events, or other outreach. Now as for individual consultant. If you're applying the opportunity for individual consultant, here's the process. Go to work with us, find the individual consultant opportunity, and it will direct you to the field glass web page, and then you can search and apply. We also share openings on other public platforms like Impact Pool, which is commonly used by UN, FIs, or NGOs. I hope this session gave you a clear idea of AIIB's corporate procurement and how you can get involved. Let's end up with one slide that put everything together. Whether you're a firm or individual consultant, you go to aiib.org/opportunities, and in the Work With Us section, you'll find both opportunities. We're also on a trusted site like Development Aid, Impact Pool, and currently we're working with the Development Aid on the subscriptions, and in if a month or two, you will have access to the Development Aid to search AIIB opportunities. And if you're wondering, how can I get involved? This is your map. Follow it. You are in the system. If you ever get lost, just email to us at procurement@aiib.org, and we're ready to help. So after this session, we'll have a one-on-one session. You're free to drop by and chat with us. Thank you.